In this lecture, I want to talk about the difference between audio and MIDI. So in a digital audio workstation, which is what Ableton Live is, there are really two ways to create sounds. One is using audio, one is using MIDI. MIDI stands for Musical Instrument Digital Interface. And the easiest way that I think about it is it's just like creating little triggers on a keyboard that's telling some kind of instrument what to do, okay? So you can see if we're trying to create a new track in Ableton, we have two options: insert audio track or insert MIDI track. And remember that the key commands are Command T and Shift Command T. So right here, I've got two different tracks going. This orange one is a MIDI track. This green one is an audio track, and you can see they look different. The MIDI track has these lines, these bars going. The audio track has what looks more like an audio wave, because that's what it is. And you're probably familiar with what audio waves look like. They're a little more natural looking and got this crest and valley appearance, whereas the MIDI track has these bars. And when I double click on my MIDI region, you can see the piano roll or MIDI note editor. So this is what we mean when we say MIDI. It's like these are keys on a keyboard that are triggering a musical instrument as it moves across the range of this keyboard. So you can see we've got the black and white keys on the left, just like a normal piano keyboard. And then we've got a length going from left to right. So up and down is the keyboard. Left to right is a time axis. And these are measured in bars and beats and whatever division you like. We're going to get into more detail later about the MIDI editor and how to edit MIDI and everything that has to do with that. But I just wanted to give a quick distinction between MIDI and audio, okay? So if I solo my MIDI track here and play that for you. Just like that, a very simple 3-chord phrase. What we're doing is we're telling this instrument to play these notes in this order over this length of time. If I put my cursor over here before my MIDI region and play the song, nothing's happening because I'm not triggering anything. Once it gets to the MIDI region, then it's going to see the notes that I've programmed in, and it's going to say, oh, okay, he wants me to play here. And then once the MIDI region is over, it stops playing. If I copy this over, then it'll play it twice. And if I change the length of the second region to just be that last note, it'll just replay that. All I'm trying to do right now is illustrate what's happening when we're using a MIDI track. With an audio track, there are no MIDI notes here, right? This is just an audio track. And if I double click, I don't see any MIDI editor. I see an audio editor. And we'll get into a lot more about what we can do in the audio editor again later. But if I click now on my MIDI track, it takes me back to this MIDI note editor. Audio track, this is the audio editor. Okay, so you can see the difference there. So a couple more things about the distinction between audio and MIDI here. If I take this MIDI track and I move it down into my audio track, it's not going to work. You can see when I do it, there's a little no sign on the MIDI region. It's just saying, nope, can't do that. If I take the audio region and move it into my MIDI track, it's going to do something different. It's going to ask me what type of audio material are you converting. So we'll get more into converting audio to MIDI because you can do some fun stuff with this. But what it's telling us is that audio tracks and MIDI tracks are two separate things. So one more thing about MIDI. If I create a new MIDI track using Command Shift T, there we go. Here's my new MIDI track. Now let's say I want to copy and paste that chord progression. I like it. I'm going to copy and paste it in like that to my new MIDI track. What do you think it will sound like? If you guessed silence, then you'd be correct. You can see that over here, these little dots, the MIDI notes are triggering, but they have nothing to trigger. There's no instrument here. When I go to this top one, that actually is making sound, it has an instrument to trigger. This new MIDI track doesn't have an instrument to trigger. So if I take my original MIDI track and let's create a new audio track, Command T, here it is. And let's set the input to 3, a squeaky bell. That's this instrument. And let's just record it. This pink region now is the audio version of what the MIDI track right above it was doing. So that's the difference between audio and MIDI. See you next time.